Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Talk how we talk sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Season
Yeah, yeah,
two,
yeah.
episode two was good with your D.
Oh man, you already know, man. Just moving and grooving, man. Just accepting life challenges, and you know how we do it, man. Just living
Yeah.
life, man, every day.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. What's
Yeah.
good though, man? What you did yesterday on the fort, man?
Oh man, I queued it up a little bit, man. Put some wings on the grill,
Oh,
put a little
yeah.
poke steak on there, and we Louisiana boys, so we do a little pork.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying to stay
yeah.
away from it, but it's kind of hard.
Man, I hear
And
you, bro.
little sauces on there, man. That's about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's what I did too, man. I just did hot dogs and burgers, bro. I was like, I wasn't even gonna do nothing at first, but then I was like, you know what? I had bought a little grill, like a little camper grill, when the
Uh-huh.
storm was supposed to hit, and I
Yeah.
ain't never used it. So I'm like, man, I got that thing just sitting there. I'm like, man, I'm about to throw some burgers and some hot dogs in there for the kids. So that's what I did. Whipped it up. You know, it was all good, bro. So I ain't
Good,
had the
man.
old smoky, but I made it
Yeah,
work, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the
God,
old smoker though. I put it on the old smoker, so that let me
yeah.
know right there. You know what time it is with that old smoker.
No, for real, for real. I would have had one, but you know, I've been moving a lot, so you know,
Yeah.
I don't be taking everything with me. But man, you know, today episode being presented to y'all by two Louisiana boys. You know, once again, we in the building. I'm one of the hosts, David O. I'm with the co-host slash producer.
D Broussard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know y'all probably like, man, all these boys do is talk about basketball, but look, we got a lot going on. So today is another episode of NBA trade talk. You know what I'm
Yes, yes,
saying? A
yes.
lot of big
Yeah.
names moving around, bro. Look, usually, you know, the summer be hot. You know, it's like when you got these big player trades, you know, it's like when one move, it's like everybody else start making their move. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And that's what a lot of teams doing. So that's what we're gonna get into today. I ain't gonna take up too much time. I'm gonna let my boy D get straight into it, and we're gonna, you know, do it how we do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like my boy Do say, man, like always, man, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Talk how we talk. And
Yep.
like my boy say, man, there's a lot going on right now in the NBA, man. A lot of blockbuster moves that went down this past week. And man, it's just a lot going on. So we gotta dive into this, man. We're gonna dive into our normal segment where we always give you guys our perspective on each one of these topics, man. Is what you think. What you think is our segment where we give you guys our perspective on each one of these topics. So first things first, Dio, we're gonna dive straight into it, man. Ja Morant has been traded to the Portland Trail Blazers, man. What did you think about Ja Morant being traded to the Portland Trail Blazers, Dio?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. That was unexpected right there. I didn't think
Facts.
he was going to the Portland Trailblazers,
Mm-hmm.
man. I know we had kind of talked about some, you know, scenarios for him a couple times in old episodes, but I was not expecting that.
Mm-mm.
I thought maybe he would have stayed on the East Coast, you know. I thought maybe, you know, it was talks about Miami, so I thought maybe he was gonna go to Miami, but once Giannis
Yeah.
happened, you
Yeah,
know,
we
I knew
talked
that was
about
out
that.
the picture, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I thought maybe, you know, we had rumors about New Orleans trying to go after him. That didn't play out. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, man, I it was unexpected, bro. I ain't even gonna
Facts.
lie.
Facts. Definitely.
But you
Definitely.
know, I'm kinda curious to see, you know, what you know, him and Lillard gonna be able to do. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the thing I'm looking towards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to see how those two gonna be able to, you know, pair up in the backcourt. And like Memphis, it wouldn't really like for Memphis, I think the reason why Memphis just, you know, got rid of him because, you know, it had, you know, the inconsistency, the suspensions that was always happening, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, injuries and things like that. And I think, you know, they just had a major question that they asked themselves in that front office, like, can we continue to try to build around John Morant?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we need to see what we can get for him while we can and, you know, start rebuilding without him? And I
True.
think that was the main question for Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Mm-hmm.
they decided that, you know, he would be better off, you know, going to somewhere else, and they would be better off getting the assets that they could get back for him. So
True.
that's what I think about that, man. What you think?
Man, I think I agree with you on that. It was definitely a shocker. I definitely wasn't expecting Ja Morant to be traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. And I'm like you, I feel like the biggest question for me is just the fit with, this team, with Dame Lillard coming back. Obviously, Portland Trail Blazers had a heck of a season last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last season, we talked about it a little bit. I kind of, put you up on game a little bit about the Portland Trail
He
Blazers.
did.
They showed up in that series a little bit during San Antonio, man. Danny Avdia, big fan of him. And they also, hired a new coach in Micah Nori, who was an assistant with the with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And so it's definitely gonna be a new system, new things going on. And I think the huge question mark for me is just how is Ja Morant gonna fit into the equation of,
Yeah.
what the Portland Trailblazers are trying to do, because obviously, Ja Morant has been very ball dominant in the last couple seasons. And you got a
Mm-hmm.
guy like Dame Lillard, who's also kind of a ball dominant guard. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, how is the chemistry and the fit? Like, how is that gonna work out? Obviously, Micah Nori, he came from under can't think of the head coach name from Minnesota right away off the top of my head, but he came from under that system. So, maybe he might be able to do a good job with, managing the chemistry and figuring out a good system that'll work for the team. But, I'm like you, man. I just feel like this was kind of a shocker. And like you said, I think Memphis felt like it was time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Ja Morant a lot of time, a lot of years. Obviously, with the off the court things and stuff like that going on. And it just
Mm-hmm.
seemed to me that like the Memphis Grizzlies were kind of starting to head more towards a different direction. They traded away Jaren Jackson Jr. Last season. And it's like I told you in a previous episode, I just knew like at some point they were going to trade Ja Morant. It just all signs was leading up to it. I think they were
Yeah.
ready to move on, like you said. And
Mm-hmm.
man, I guess I'm shocked like you, and I guess we're gonna have to see what happens with the move.
No, for real, for real. But what I think I like about the trade, is that he gets a new opportunity, and like I don't think Portland is kind of, ain't nowhere near like what Memphis was. You know what I'm saying? So I know we had
True.
kind of talked about on some
hmm
other episodes where he needed a city and a team to where
Definitely.
he can kind of get back to playing ball. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? And I think I mean, from my knowledge, it ain't nothing to do in Portland, but you know what I'm saying? Go to work and
Shout
come
out to
home, I
Portland.
guess.
Yeah,
But
shout
yeah,
out to
shout out to
Portland, man.
Portland, man. But it's kind of like one of them cities, it's like they never on the map for nothing. You know
Right,
what I'm
right,
saying? It's
right,
like
right.
a
True.
lot of people probably wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for the
The
team, if it
Trailblazers.
wasn't for Portland
Absolutely.
Trailblazers, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what I think what Ja going over there though, I think it helps Portland in a couple different aspects. It helps
hmm
them with getting another star player, right?
hmm
Because he's a star and he was one of the best guards in the league. Pairing him
hmm
up with Damian Lillard, so I think it gives them star power. I think they're gonna have a lot more eyes on Portland to see that dynamic.
hmm
I think it's also going to help them with having more national televised games with
Right.
them being there. Um, Jersey sales, of course. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Everybody, not in Morant's there, a lot of Portland fans is going to be, wanting to buy the jerseys and things like that.
hmm
And I think overall he's a fun player to watch when he's focusing on basketball. So
True.
I think all of those things gives Portland an advantage. And I would say that they won in this trade, because what the Grizzlies got back Jeremy Grant and
hmm
another young guy on the wing, Chris. Let's see, his name is I don't want to say his last name wrong, but they got back Jeremy Grant and they got I just had it Chris Murray is who they
Okay.
got in the
Okay. Yeah.
trade
Okay. Yeah. I
for
know. Okay. Chris Murray. That's the other Murray kid from Sacramento. That's his little brother or his older brother or something. Keegan
okay.
Murray. Keegan Murray from Sacramento. Yeah. Okay. Chris Murray. I know you talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got those two guards in exchange for Lillard. I'm not for Lillard for Morant.
I got you.
So
I got you.
yeah. So I think overall Portland won in this trade, and like you say, they had a deep, nice playoff run. And I think just adding him to the fold without having to give up, some of
Too
the
much.
team they had. Yeah, I
Right.
think it's a good. I think it's a good trade for Portland, but definitely was unexpected for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously Memphis just drafted the Boozer kid from Duke. So,
Yeah.
it just seemed like, Memphis going in a new direction, man. They got Scottie Pippen Jr. out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, he was starting the ball real hard while Morant was out. So I kind of think that Memphis looked at it and was kind of like, man, we kind of got some good pieces, for the future going
Yeah.
forward. So I think it's just time to move on. So I think that's what happened, really.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Now, in other news, this right here was another shocker to me. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I definitely wasn't expecting this one, but Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers, man. I definitely was not expecting Boston to trade Jaylen Brown. What you think about this Jaylen Brown trade deal?
Man, shocker for sure. And then to the 76ers, like I
Right.
didn't. If anything, if he would have got traded, I thought they was going to send him to, somewhere else. So I didn't expect it to be Philly, bro. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest with you, like
Yeah.
especially since it's like same conference. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how he played. Y'all know he gonna have a chip on his shoulder. So when Boston and Philly play, it's gonna be some tension in that building. It's going. All eyes is gonna be because Tatum
Facts.
is on the other side.
Right.
Jaylen Brown on the other side, they're gonna be
Right.
going at each other, man. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's something I'm looking to see because it's like they got all kind of reports saying that, Jaylen Brown never requested a trade. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then they saying that the Celtics, they saying like, they part of it. So it's like it's what I'm saying? It's like he say, she say, and it's like that turmoil that's causing is like it wasn't good for neither side because even if they would have kept Jaylen Brown, you know what I'm saying? He would have not feel like the player that he is, or he probably would have feel some type of way because it's like, really, y'all putting my name up in trade talk. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So it's like I think whether he stayed or not, bro, they was gonna get move him eventually because I think he'd have just had that on his mind that y'all picking Tatum over me, right?
Right. Right.
So when Tatum was out, I'm the one who put the team on my back. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Mm-hmm.
brought us all the way, to
That's
however far
fact.
they went,
That's fact.
and it's like, man, I had one of my best seasons, showing y'all I can be a one man show pretty much. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And now it's like Tatum come back, y'all trying to hand him the keys when I was here, putting in the work. So, but I like that he gets a new opportunity. You know what I'm saying? To prove himself elsewhere. Even though he is going to another team with star players in Joel Embiid. They have Maxi over there too. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that can be a solid, big three for Philly because that's what they really was missing. Like they was missing somebody like when Joel Embiid getting double teamed, who can they go to
Mm-hmm.
pick up that slack? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Besides Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Jaylen Brown fits those shoes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, I just think that the rest of the league in trouble. Because I feel like the disrespect that Jaylen Brown been taking these last couple weeks, man, with the way that he played for the Boston Celtics this past year, like you said, he basically put the team on his back and carried the team. And I feel like it was Jaylen Brown that actually got the Celtics to the playoffs and got them. I think the Boston Celtics were like the number 2 seed going into the playoffs. So I mean, without Jaylen Brown, where would the Celtics be in the playoffs? So I
Exactly.
just feel like the Jaylen Brown disrespect has just been an all-time high. And like you say, when the
Mm-hmm.
Celtics and the 76ers play, Jaylen Brown is gonna be out for blood. He
Yep.
gonna punish the Celtics. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they disrespected him a whole lot, but it's not surprising. It's no shot towards Boston or the Boston Celtics, but it's not surprising because Boston has done things like this in the past with Isaiah Thomas, trading him away when he
Mm-hmm.
had one of the best seasons of his career and the best season for the Celtics, and they traded him away the next year. So I mean, Boston is definitely not a stranger to trading away guys, even though they have good seasons. So My main thing is just I feel like now the 76ers are gonna be definitely a championship contender. Now obviously it's definitely gonna all depend on the health of Joel Embiid. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Embiid has been dealing with a lot of injuries these past couple years. But I feel like with this team, I feel like Joel Embiid don't really have to do much. Like if he can get him, 14, 15 points, man, and 10 rebounds, like, and just play some defense, I think they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be okay because they have VJ Eskrim, they have Tyrese Max, and now they have Jalen Brown. So, and they have a couple good pieces around them as well. So I feel like the 76ers, you know, they definitely gonna be able to contend for a championship next season. And they got a coach in Nick Nurse that already won a championship. And I think that Nick Nurse is really good with figuring out how to get certain players to coexist and play with one another, the same way he did with bringing in Kawhi Leonard that year when they won in Toronto. He
Mm-hmm.
was able to kind of find a way to get Kawhi into that system and help them win the championship. So now I feel like Nick Nurse got his championship type roster, and it's gonna be a problem, man. It's gonna be interesting to see because I was really looking at the Knicks of possibly repeating, but after this trade, I'm just like, man, I don't know. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough in the East.
No, 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 no. The East definitely turned up with this one, like for
Yeah,
real. Like
absolutely, absolutely.
Philly is definitely going to be dangerous, man. Like you said, if Joel can just stay healthy and provide, what he can provide and bring. Cause like when he came back in the playoffs, like he changed the playoffs just for
That's
those
a
couple
fact.
little games when
That's
he
a
came
fact.
back and he was coming
Mm-hmm.
off an injury and them boys, you know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
came in there, boom, 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 did what they did, and until they got to the Knicks, then the Knicks had to, do what they do. But
right.
I think I think though it's like even though Brad Stevens traded him, I think too there was like concern about the salary cap too, because it's like you got two major players with big contracts, right? You got Tatum with his contract, and you got Brown with his contract. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I think there was a matter of also like not wanting to pay those luxury tax penalties and things
Right,
that the
right.
teams be dealing with. And I think they just felt like if we had to get rid of one player and we wanted to build around a player, they was rather build around Tatum instead of.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the Celtics, they did get back Paul George. They
Mm-hmm.
did get back, some draft picks, and they
Mm-hmm.
got some financial flexibility, future
Mm-hmm.
flexibility. So I
Right.
think overall, you know what I'm saying, like if they can use the assets they gain, I think they win in the long term, but I think in the short term, I think that Philly definitely won the trade on this.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Philly did win the trade, man. Paul George, has been a lot of questions about him and his availability over the last couple of years, So I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work out with the Celtics, but yeah, I feel like Philly won that trade, most definitely.
No, for real.
Now, next up, this was a shocker to me too, and I'm gonna be honest, like I definitely wasn't expecting this one either. Kawhi Leonard being traded to the Toronto Raptors, making his return back to the Raptors. Um, Man, what you think about this one, Dio?
Another shocker, bro. Like it's like wasn't expecting it for sure because like when the Clippers got rid of Harden, you know what I'm saying? I felt like okay, they was giving Kawhi the keys, right? We
Mm-hmm.
getting rid of Harden. This is your team now. They got rid of Paul George, because they all was over there. So they got
Mm-hmm.
rid of everybody, and I'm thinking like, okay, they going Kawhi gonna be the man that lead them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they traded him, bro, I was like, man, this is crazy. But at the
True.
same time, you know what I'm saying? I think it's good for even though they did give up what's old boy name? Uh
Brandon Ingram.
yeah, not Ingram, but yeah, Ingram. Yeah, they give up Ingram and they give up a lot of picks too. But at the
Yeah.
same time, I think Toronto still got a solid, team
Mm-hmm.
without having Ingram there because
Mm-hmm.
Toronto was another team that made some noise last
True.
season. You
True.
know what I'm saying? As a young
Mm-hmm.
team. So now bringing in Kawhi, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? A veteran who already won there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been proven to be a closer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? In difficult times in playoff time. Forget playoff P in Paul George. We got playoff K in Kawhi
Right.
Leonard.
Right.
That
Right.
dude, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? He can put teams on his back
Go
so
to
he can
another
get
level.
going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think Toronto made the trade and was willing to, bring Kawhi back was because they needed that closer. Because right now they have a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of young guys. They ain't had no veteran leadership. And I think that's what Kawhi is going to bring to the table going back to the Toronto Raptors.
Man, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Toronto, they got uh like you say, man, a lot of young pieces. You got uh Scotty Barnes, who is a good young player. He can guard multiple positions. So you got Emmanuel Quickly, you got RJ Barrett out there. You got a lot of good pieces in Toronto. And like you
No, for
said, the
real.
Toronto Raptors, they didn't really give up a whole lot of that team that they had last year. It's almost like they really just kind of added Kawhi Leonard to what they already had. Now, like you said, they did give up a lot of draft picks, which was kind of a good move for the Clippers going forward, getting all those
Mm-hmm.
draft picks and getting a young player like Brandon Ingram. Obviously, I know a lot about Brandon Ingram being a Pelicans fan, but um, you know, so Brandon Ingram is still, developing. I feel like he's gonna be a good piece to add to their team because now you got Brandon Ingram, then you still got Darius Garland out there. You got Benedict Mathurin, so Teron Lewis, the coach in LA. So I feel like both teams, in my opinion, won this trade. I think the Raptors got a veteran in Kawhi Leonard, somebody who can help lead these young guys, and then I feel like the Clippers got some good young pieces and some draft capital. So I feel like nobody really lost to me in this trade. I feel like this was really a good trade overall.
No, I would have to agree with you for sure because it's like you say, both teams, Raptors get back a veteran guy. Clippers, they get a lot of assets to rebuild around.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone Lue still over there as a head coach, championship coach. So I agree
Mm-hmm.
with you on that. And I
Yeah.
think I was just reading a report too. It said that on Toronto side that they was willing to pay a premium to
Mm.
get Leonard back with them boys, man. So and that just go to show you that they value him in, his leadership and his, his playing style and what he can bring to the table to be
Right.
willing to give up a premium worth of, assets to get that
Mm-hmm.
type of player. And on the Clipper side, it goes to show you too that they still respected Kawhi, enough to where it's like, man, while he's still playing at this elite level, let's go ahead and get what we can get back for him before
Mm-hmm.
his, value go down. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
he
Right.
have
Right.
had injuries, he's had inconsistency. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the main reasons why the Clippers decided that, hey, while he's still of value, let's go ahead and start this rebuild. We're ready, as I mentioned earlier. They already got rid of George, already got rid of Harden. Let's go ahead and just start this rebuild process.
Right. 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 True. 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 Yeah, man. Crazy. In other news, this was one that we kind of spoke about at the end of the last episode. Do now LeBron leaves the Lakers. Kind of was this is not really a shocker because I kind of was expecting it. I think we talked about that. We kind of felt like LeBron was on his way out the door. And what you think about LeBron leaving the Lakers?
I mean, I don't think it's not like you said, it's not that big of a shocker. I kind of, figured he would have left because, like I mentioned on the other episode, when they brought Luca there and they started prioritizing Luca and they started prioritizing, Austin Reeves, giving Austin Reeves that contract extension and things like that, you kind of seen the writing on the wall, right? That they
Mm-hmm.
was looking to rebuild around Luca, right? And
Absolutely.
not saying that they wanted to get rid of LeBron because they wanted him to stay. They
Mm-hmm.
was willing to keep LeBron. You know what I'm saying? They wanted him to stay, but at the end of the day, LeBron, he is getting older,
Mm-hmm.
and he's still playing at a very elite level, one of the best
Mm-hmm.
players still in the NBA. And while he still has his talents and things like that and his ability to play, he felt that it was time to move on and go, where he could possibly, not saying he couldn't win a ring in LA, but he feeling like, man, his time is really almost up. So what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gonna be signing too many more contracts, right?
Right. Right.
So it's like he felt that I feel like he felt that, this is gonna be my last run, and
Mm-hmm.
this last run gotta be my best run. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because when he was younger, right? He's still in his prime. He could go
Mm-hmm.
wherever, play wherever. He had time to still chase those rings, but he don't got a lot of time left to chase these rings. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why he's trying to, figure it out where he's gonna go. Because
Mm-hmm.
his agent, Rich Paul, I've been reading some reports, coming out of Rich Paul, and it's saying like, people kind of, want to know what's the timeline, right? When
Mm-hmm.
will LeBron make a decision? And his
Mm-hmm.
agent say, don't look for a decision no time soon,
Mm-hmm.
because he's actually taking his time to decide where I want to play, where can I win at, and this is probably going to be his last run when he signed with this team. So it's like he don't want to listen to all the noise. Oh, you should go to New York, you should go to Miami, you should go to Cleveland, whatever. You know what I'm saying? He trying to make the best decision for himself and his legacy in the end of his career. And I
Right.
think I think the two teams, me personally,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I would love to see him at the Heat. I don't know why I want to see him go back to Miami. I just feel like going back to Miami would just be a shocker to
Right.
everybody, right?
Right. Right. Right.
It would be a shocker. People
Mm-hmm.
kind of figuring and thinking that okay, he might go back to Cleveland, go home, finish his career there.
Mm-hmm.
It's some speculation saying that hey, him and Steph been talking, they've been wanting to play together, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
think if he would go to Miami, I think that would shock everybody.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, man. I think like you said, we had already talked about it. We kind of already knew, the Lakers run was pretty much over. Obviously, like you said, the Lakers was starting to look like they was ready to go in a different direction. And I think LeBron did a respectable thing by, announcing that he wasn't going to return to allow the Lakers to have some cap space to, you know, go after some free agents, and which they did. They brought in some real
Mm-hmm.
good free agents to add to what they already had with Luka. And I'm kind of with you, man. I think Miami, to me right now, Miami and Cleveland are my top picks right now. I just don't really think that the Golden State thing is gonna happen. I know a lot of people real hyped over that, talking about that, but I don't really think
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna happen. Honestly, I really think that LeBron gonna return to Cleveland. Like if I could really just choose one, I'll say Cleveland. And a lot of reason is
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of person, man, I like to read signs. And I think LeBron has given a few signs in the past couple of
Yeah.
weeks or so that he's going to return to Cleveland by the
Yeah.
reunion with the Cavaliers championship team.
Yep.
Obviously, he came over Instagram and he was in Cleveland and he was in the
Yep.
old Hummer where, that his first Hummer that he had when he was a kid. So it's kind
The
of like
signs.
the signs. I
Mm-hmm.
followed the sign like he going to go back to Cleveland. Like I think he was throwing out signs to see if people was going to catch it,
Yeah.
and based
And he
off what
liked to
I
do that.
see, yeah, he like to do that. So what I seen
Mm-hmm.
from Brown is like, man, I'm coming back home to Cleveland. Then it was what we talked about too with him taking the vet minimum and not going for a big contract. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, Cleveland don't really have a whole lot of cap space, so
Yeah.
he probably would have to sign like a vet minimum, which I doubt. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they'll pay Brown more than a vet minimum, but
Yeah.
still, man, I just think all signs point to Cleveland, man. And the
Yeah.
biggest thing though is uh, my thing is, does he want to play with James Harden? Because we already know James Harden and his, situation as far as the things he been going through the last couple of seasons with not showing up and things like that. So, I think that's gonna be the biggest question. Does he want to play with James Harden? I think he'll probably want to play with Donovan Mitchell, but does he
Yeah.
want to play with James Harden? I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing with the Cleveland situation.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because like I've been seeing those reports too that he been hanging out in Cleveland. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He been spotted with his old teammates. He even been
Mm-hmm.
spotted with I think the assistant GM. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so and then there's also I heard some other rumors, reports, allegedly type stuff that James Harden didn't opt into his
Yeah.
option,
Yeah. I saw that.
to leave some
Mm-hmm.
flexibility,
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the Cavs to be able to, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And then there's
Mm-hmm.
another report and rumor that I've been hearing that the Cavs is actually trying to hold a roster spot for his son for them
Mm-hmm.
to make a trade to bring Bronny over there, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, to come, still do the father son duo type
Right.
thing.
Right.
So, like you say, reading all of those signs,
Yeah, the
It's
signs in the
probably
air, bro. I
it's
think
probably
he
going
going
back
back
to
to
Cleveland,
Cleveland,
which would
man.
be good for Cleveland, man. It would be good
Absolutely.
for him because he started there. It was the love for him. Then when he left, it
Mm-hmm.
was the hate for him. He
Mm-hmm.
came back. It was the love for him coming back,
Mm-hmm.
and now he coming back again to say, man, Cleveland, this is
Yeah.
for you.
Hey, that's what I've been saying to people who've been asking me about
Yeah,
where Brian going. I've been saying that, man. Cleveland, this is for you. They're like, man, Brian, I just feel Brian
yeah,
going back to Cleveland, bro. I feel like it'll be the best ending story for him in his career. Obviously all the years that he had and great moments he had there. And you could just tell based off of, I think it was a game they played Cleveland last season. I think it was a video I watched with Brian getting emotional and stuff like that.
yeah,
You could tell they just have so much love for Brian, man, and they always accepted him with open arms no matter what he went through or what he did. Like,
yeah,
they've always just showed so much love to Brian. So I just think I feel like that would be like the best ending story for his career, man, is to return to Cleveland and end it all right there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he could go to another team, try to chase a ring, and then do like those 1 day contract things to return to Cleveland. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think that would be as sweet as him actually going there and doing a whole season or doing another 2 years or however much time he got left. So I
Right.
think with him going back to Cleveland is the best storybook ending. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because I think he's like 42. I think last time heard or seen. I
He
think
like 41.
yeah, something like that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I mean, he ain't gonna be playing till 50.
Nah.
So you know what I'm saying? He about to hang it up. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man. I think that, and then especially if he win another ring, if you go back to Cleveland and win another
Oh
ring,
man, that's gonna be crazy.
like you can't say nothing.
You can't
Like
say
you can't
nothing at
say
that point.
nothing. You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
it.
saying?
That's gonna be crazy. And then
You
I
you
feel
go-
like Cleveland have a lot of they have a lot of good pieces that if they were to add just LeBron, bro, I feel like that would change the dynamic too. Just kind of like how we talked about Jalen Brown and going to the Sixers. I feel like Brian
Mhm.
going back to Cleveland would really change the Eastern Conference now because now you like,
Yeah,
oh man, you got Brian Harden,
yeah.
Mitchell, still got Allen down low.
Hmm.
The other kid, I forgot his name.
Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley.
Hmm.
So man, and you got a good coach in Kenny Atkinson. So
Yep.
man, that's gonna change everything in the East if Brian go back to Cleveland, most definitely.
No, for real, for real,
Yeah,
for real. Yeah, man. That's the really the last big person we waiting on, right? That's the
that's a
last big
fact. That's
decision
a
we
fact.
waiting on.
Mm-hmm.
Summer league already done started. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
seen that started already. And so but I mean that's pretty much it, man. That's all of the big trade talk we got going on right now, y'all. Hopefully we can get to some other stuff once we start hearing about some other stuff. But
Yeah,
man, it looked like this becoming a basketball show, man. But
yeah, for real,
we're gonna
man.
we're gonna definitely try to keep y'all up to date on other things, once the NFL start
Mm-hmm.
popping, so
Absolutely.
but man, we appreciate everybody. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Y'all turn on y'all notification bells. That way when we drop, y'all can know when we dropping. And we
Mm-hmm.
appreciate everybody, man. Make sure y'all share it. We appreciate that. But until next time, man, talk how we talk.
Yeah, yeah, man. Talk how we talk, man. Like my boy Do say, make sure you like and subscribe, turn your notification bells on. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, I think we need to go ahead and do each and every Sunday, Do, man. What you thinking, man? Each and every Sunday?
Yeah, I think Sunday's a good day, man, because that give us, the week to get the news together,
That's a fact.
and
That's
then
a
we could
fact.
touch on it on Sundays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I know, like you said earlier, you know what I'm saying. Life be life, and you know what I'm
that's a
saying.
fact.
So
That's a fact.
sometimes we can't drop as much as we want. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? But I think if we had at least a weekly show, people will
yeah.
know every Sunday is going
Every
down.
Sunday, man.
You know
That's
what I'm
it, man.
saying?
So hey, it's confirmed right here, man. Talk how we talk, man. Each and every Sunday. Make sure y'all tap in, man. We out.
We out.